What if I told you that a single phone call, not from a general, not from a peacekeeper, but from a U.S. president, stopped two nuclear nations from going to war? And not just that. What if the same man claimed he ended 8 wars in 8 months? With nothing but words, deals, and tariffs? Tonight we dive into one of the most shocking stories of modern diplomacy, filled with border battles, back-channel calls, and even an election scandal brewing behind the scenes. Stay tuned, and before we start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more breaking political stories like this one. Music fades. Transition to narration. They were fighting along a tense border. Shots fired, thousands dead. Two nations, their animosity stretching back hundreds of years, were suddenly on the brink of all-out war. And in the middle of it, while trade negotiations were already on the table, Donald Trump, then U.S. president, and said, "Wait a minute. We're making deals and they're starting a war?" He didn't wait for the Pentagon, didn't call a summit. Instead, he picked up the phone. "Let's call the head," he said. He didn't even know them personally at the time. But within hours, he was speaking to leaders from both sides, Thailand, Cambodia, and eventually Malaysia, which would play a surprising role as a neutral mediator. The bullets were still flying. The air was too hot, not just from weather but from conflict. So, Malaysia stepped in, offering a secure facility. Their prime minister, Trump said later, was a great guy who helped make peace possible. Within 2 days, against all odds, the two rival nations sat across from each other. Not as enemies, but as partners signing a deal that ended decades of hostility. They were like best friends, Trump recalled. It was a beautiful thing to see. He claimed it wasn't just peace, it was a miracle. A 500-year feud ended in 48 hours. And that was just one example. Trump went on to boast, "I ended 8 wars in 8 months. But behind every diplomatic win, there was another strategy. Tariffs. Fair tariffs, he called them. Policies that, according to him, would not only stop wars but balance America's budget. He claimed those tariffs would reduce the U.S. deficit by $4 trillion over the next decade, maybe even more. Now, to many, that sounded bold, unrealistic even. But for Trump, the logic was simple. Trade is power, and power can bring peace. If a company doesn't want to pay tariffs, he said, they can build in America, 0 tariffs at home. Then came the crisis that could have sparked a global disaster, India and Pakistan. 2 nuclear powers, both armed to the teeth, and once again, shots fired across the border. Reports said 7 planes had been shot down. The world held its breath. And according to Trump's own account, he was in the middle of a trade deal with India when it all began. He admired Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a great guy, a tough fighter, he said. But he also had strong ties with Pakistan's leadership, even calling the Pakistani field marshal a great fighter, and a great guy, too. So what happens when 2 friends go to war with each other, and both are crucial trade partners? Trump's answer: stop the deals. He called Modi directly. "We can't make a trade deal with you," he said. "You're starting a war with Pakistan," Modi protested. No, we must make a trade deal." But Trump didn't back down. Then he called Pakistan. "We're not going to trade with you either," he told them. "Not while you're fighting with India." According to Trump, both sides argued at first. Neither wanted to back down. They were proud, defiant, ready to fight. "You should let us fight," both leaders told him. Trump described Modi as calm on the outside, but tough as hell underneath. "He looks like your father," Trump joked, "but he's a killer." Still, the message was clear. Stop the war or lose trade with the United States. And when words weren't enough, Trump pulled out his signature move, tariffs. "I said I was going to put 250% tariffs on each country," he recounted. "That means you'll never do business. It's a nice way of saying we don't want to do business with you." And then, like something out of a political thriller, within 48 hours, the fighting stopped. 7 planes down, border tensions high, yet suddenly, silence. "No war, no people killed," he said. "We saved millions of lives." Whether it was coincidence, diplomacy, or bluff, the claim stunned both critics and supporters. Could economic pressure really have stopped 2 nuclear powers from escalating? Even Vladimir Putin reportedly called him after another conflict, saying, "It's amazing." We couldn't get that war stopped. Trump smiled, repeating the story often as proof that negotiation, not war, could shape the world. But here's where the election scandal twist enters the picture. Because even as Trump celebrated these foreign victories, investigators and political opponents were digging into the timing of these peace deals. Were they part of genuine diplomacy or carefully timed maneuvers to boost approval ratings ahead of elections? Several political analysts suggested that these quick peace stories, the Cambodia-Thailand truce, the India-Pakistan pause, came conveniently close to campaign milestones. Others questioned the accuracy altogether, citing missing documentation, vague timelines, and a pattern of self-reported wins. And that's where things get messy. Because when you mix diplomacy with politics and peace with polling numbers, the line between statesmanship and self-interest starts to blur. Still, millions of supporters point to these stories as proof of strength, that America first didn't just mean economics, but global stability through negotiation. His critics, on the other hand, call it revisionist history, rewriting conflicts into campaign slogans. But one thing is undeniable. These claims sparked massive debate about what real leadership looks like in a world on edge. Is peace made through compassion or through leverage? Is a tariff mightier than a tank? Music swells softly. So as election season looms again, and scandals reemerge, trade deals, wars, peace treaties, and questions of truth. The story of those phone calls remains one of the most controversial chapters in modern politics. If those conversations truly happened the way Trump describes, they may have saved lives. If they didn't, then they may be one of the most strategic political narratives ever told. And as we've seen time and again, the line between truth and power isn't always where we expect it to be. Closing music rises. Before you go, what do you think? Did Trump's diplomacy really stop wars, or was it all politics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep-dive political exposés, real stories behind the headlines, and upcoming coverage on the latest election scandal shaking Washington.